Hello, welcome to Bonneville Automotive. Today we're going to talk about ratchets, sockets, and torque wrenches, various tools that you will use a lot of in a small vehicle repair. So let's go ahead and look at the basic ones first, which is your 3H drive socket. So if we look here closely, is 3H is talking about the drive or the size of this box on the back, and then you have the socket on the part that actually attaches to the bolt or nut. So here is a 3H drive ratchet. Place it on the socket. And now I can take, this one is a 5/16 socket, also known as a short socket. Okay. We also have 1/4-inch drives. You can see the differences between these two. We have 1/4-inch and 3/8. We also have 1/2-inch drive. So various drive styles. Okay, so those are ratchets. They have a button on the back to help release sockets. So I can press it, push the socket on. I can press it again, which then will remove it. Placing the socket on. Okay, now what you'll hear is you'll hear the clicking. That clicking is just going backwards. It's not actually moving the socket itself. Okay, to move it, I have to go opposite of the click. Now I can ratchet forward. Okay, and then if I flip this switch on the back, now I can loosen with the ratchet. And that is the same with the 1/4-inch socket. It has a button, or socket, sorry, 1/4-inch ratchet. It also has a switch. We also have what's known as a T-handle. So you can place a socket on here, and now you can have a grip on here and go quickly. Okay? Or I can use it like a breaker bar by sliding the T-handle over, which then gives me more leverage to turn the nut or bolt. Okay, so here's our T-handle. Okay, now let's talk about sockets. This is a chrome socket used with hand ratchets. This one's a black socket, meaning that this one is for impact guns. Okay, so we have an impact gun right here. This uses air here, and you insert the socket onto the tip here. Then you can pull the trigger, and this will take more force to help you remove a nut or bolt. Never use a chrome socket on an impact gun. They are not made for that. If we look closely here, you can see that the thickness of the wall. So you can see this is a really thin wall around here. And this one's really thick around there to help protect the bolt and as well as yourself. Okay? Now let's talk about some more about sockets. So we're going to just use the impact sockets for examples here. This is known as a short socket. It is short. This is known as a deep socket, meaning that now it can go in further into it. So if you have a nut and a long shaft from that nut, you can slide this over and then remove it. Okay? Sometimes you can't quite reach the item you need with just a simple socket and ratchet because it's too far and there's other things in the way. What you use is called an extension. Okay? So we place this onto the socket, then onto the ratchet, and now I have more reach with my ratchet. Okay? The last one, we have 3 more tools I want to talk about. This one is known as a air ratchet. Just like this one operates with air. So then you just squeeze the trigger here and it will turn with the power of the air inside here. It also has an on and off switch, or not on and off, a left or right switch right here. Okay. And then our last 2 right here is what you'll use when you start assembling things. We have 2 different torque wrenches. This is known as a needle wrench. It has a long shaft that comes down and a needle that points to the different size or weight that you're putting onto it. So this would go onto our socket. Okay, I place it on the bolt. We're going to use the cam for a minute. And I tighten. This rod will deflect, and it will give me a reading. This one is in inch pounds. It will tell me how tight I'm making that bolt. Now, if you remember from the nut and bolt assignment, every bolt has a strength or a limit before it fails. So this is how we tighten those things, so that we know that we made it to a tightness. Every fastener has a torque specification, even the ones that don't have any marks on their head. Because you can't torque that one to, say 1,000 foot-pounds. Well, yeah, it has a limit. This is known as a clicking torque wrench. Okay. Now, on a clicking torque wrench, you will always unscrew the handle completely to remove the torque. Okay, meaning that there is a scale on here. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. There is a written scale on here, and that's how we line it up. So if I need, say, this one's now at 10 pounds plus 5, so it's at 15 pounds. Now I can torque that item for 15 pounds. But when you're done, you always bring it all the way down, and you'll see these double arrows, or this little line. I'll get on the camera here. That's where you'll stop. Because if you leave it torqued, it will then bend the bars in here permanently, and it will be no good. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for learning about sockets and ratchets. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to meeting you at our next lesson. Thank you.